Another 20% battery, y'all. My peoples. Back out in the yard again. Backyard boogie. That's right. Okay. So, it's going to be really short. And this right here is going to be about the messenger. I want to talk about the messenger in this video right here. And the reason why I want to do that right there is because what we need to understand is when I say messenger, I'm not talking about just one person, y'all. This is what I'm talking about. We falling into a time now where y'all gonna start having people come to y'all, giving y'all certain messages that y'all, you know, either it depends on how spiritually attached you are. The messenger is going to be more than one person. I'm going to let you know this right now. And the reason why I'm speaking on this right here is because I noticed something yesterday. Me and a person was talking, and this person and I have a mutual person in between. This person wanted me to get a word across to the other person, and I told them they just wouldn't listen to me. They just not gonna do it. So it was like you do it, and they might listen to you, and that's what I'm talking about right there. The message that I could have gave this person would have been the same exact message. See, what we got to start doing, y'all, is we got to start paying attention to people's spirit. You know, this right here, you know, is what I've been, you know, pretty much zeroing in on since Junior. Today, and speaking of Junior, today marked 10 months for Junior. Today marked 10 months for Junior. But yeah, I was paying attention to that right there, and the reason why I brought that right there up is because I noticed that sometimes you have to be on the right frequency with people in order for them to understand the word that you're trying to get through to them, okay? You got to be on the right frequency with them, because if you're not on the right frequency with these people, I'm talking about on the spirit level, they not going to hear you. I don't care how much you say to them. I don't care. Listen, my proof of that right there is how many times have y'all ever went and told somebody something, right? They wrote it off, and you know what they did? They heard it from somebody else and they accepted it. You see what I'm saying? That's because you wasn't supposed to be that messenger. You see what I'm saying? They were supposed to got that message from somebody else. That's the reason why they didn't hear you. You know, and the more and more I pay attention to that right there, the more and more I start to understand certain things, you know, that happens around, you know, why you don't get the message like you're supposed to get the message. And the reason why you don't get that message like you're supposed to is because it's not who you supposed to get it from. It's people out here that's supposed to give you messages. That's why I be telling y'all, pay attention to this stuff right here, man. Don't just write it off, because you're going to get some messages from some people out here, man. And these messages that they give you, because you know these people that's giving you this message, you're going to write this stuff off, and you're not going to give it a chance, a shot, or nothing. But then somebody else gonna come by and give you that same message that somebody else did, and you was open to it, which lets me know that if you was willing to accept that message from somebody else, that means that I wasn't supposed to be that messenger to give you that message. And that's what's going on right now, y'all. That's what I've been seeing a lot of right now, because what's happening is people will give you a message. And that message could be anything, y'all. Listen, the message could be anything. It's not just coming from one person. You just got to keep your ear open to it. They're going to come and give you a message. And if that message reside with you, then that right there more than likely was a person that was supposed to deliver that message to you. Because if I come and deliver you a message and it reside with you right off the bat, then I was the one that was supposed to deliver that message. Now it's up to you to tap into your spirit and see what that message was supposed to be about. You know what I'm saying? Because you wondering why sometimes people will hear that same message from somebody else, but then when it come down to you, they ain't heard nothing that you said. That's because you wasn't supposed to deliver that message. This goes back to what I was saying before. Like, it's going to be times where you're going to get messages downloaded into you that the way that message came to you, you couldn't tell nobody if you wanted to. If you wanted to tell somebody about that message, you wouldn't be able to do it because it wouldn't come out right. That means that right there was a message that was just for you. That's what I'm talking about. That message was just for you because you wasn't able to tell nobody else about it, even when you tried to. So here's what I've been doing lately. What I've been doing lately is I've been listening to certain things and paying attention to certain messages that I would get. And I would know that if that message is for me because it'll resonate with me, right? But the fact that I will be able to tell somebody else or give somebody some information about something and it don't resonate with them, and somebody else can come right behind me and give them that same information and they just take it open arms and, almost don't question nothing. See, that right there is what I'm talking about. And you guys start turning and look at your spirit on this right here, because I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't know if y'all been feeling this right here lately, but it done been a lot of spirit stuff going on lately. I'm telling you. And it done been a lot of synchronicities going on. It done been a lot of this stuff. I don't know if y'all paying attention to this stuff, okay? And so now, at this point right here, with all these synchronicities going on and all, it's something going on. It's like a shift or something that's happening right now within the earth or something. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I'm paying attention to the message. And you know what? The crazy part is the message is not going to always come from the source that you think is going to come from. This is why I'm trying to tell y'all, these messages is going to come from a little bit of everywhere. These messages ain't going to come from just the people that's closest to you. These messages ain't just going to come from the pastor and none of this other stuff, man. These messages is going to come from a little bit of everywhere. They're going to come from your dreams. They're going to come from your own little voice in your head. Hey, listen, they're going to come through text messages. You're going to ask yourself a question and then you're going to get this answer through a message. You're going to see a video. You're going to be in the store and somebody going to say something that you wanted to know the answer to, and it's just going to resonate with you. And you're going to be like, wait a minute. When you get that answer, it's going to be like, you're going to feel it resonate with you. And you're going to be like, that's what I was asking about earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the stuff that I'm talking about that's happening now. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say pay attention to everything. You got to pay attention to everything. Pay attention to everything, man. Pay attention to everything. You know what I'm saying? Because this right here is how you gonna start finding out stuff. This right here is how you gonna have the ups. You gonna get the ups. You know what I'm saying? Over a whole lot of other people who this stuff goes over their head. You still looking at fights on social media? You ain't trying to do none of this work? Oh, what I'm talking about is crazy. And okay, well, you go ahead and you stay in that lane right there. While everybody else doing that work, they're going to be able to see a whole lot further than you do. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and I was letting her know. I said, listen. I said, me sitting up here talking to you right now, I just taught myself something. And that's another thing. Start having these conversations about stuff like this, because when you having conversations like this right here, sometimes you're going to be teaching yourself something in the process that you ain't even know that you was even teaching yourself. You know what I'm saying? You're going to say some stuff that's going to surprise you. And that's how you know that that stuff really not really coming from you per se, not your body. It's coming from your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because you getting downloads. You see what I'm saying? You getting downloads. If you've been doing the work, especially if you done did what they would call shadow work and stuff like that. I just heard about that not too long ago. I never really dug too deep inside of it, but if you done did any type of work on yourself on the spirit level and stuff like that, you gonna start seeing this stuff. You're gonna start feeling it. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, these messages, they're gonna come through kids, they're gonna come through video games, these messages gonna come through everything. They gonna come from every which way, but it's up to you to pay attention to what message you get. So it's like, for me, I've asked many a times, why did this right here have to happen to my son? Little do I know, I was probably getting the messages a long time ago, and the answers that I was getting, I probably just wasn't ready to accept them. You see what I'm saying? That's going to be the next thing. When you get these messages and you get these answers, it's going to be up to you to accept them, because some of it going to resonate with you. Some of it ain't going to resonate with you, meaning that you ain't going to like it, but you know it's going to be true. You see what I'm saying? The faster you can accept that, the faster you can move forward with a healing process, or you can move forward with a knowing process. You know what I'm saying? Because now, you know what I'm saying? You putting everything together. All these little messages and downloads and stuff that you done been getting, you putting them all together. And all this stuff right here is lining up. You see what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Because it's like I believe one of the points that I made before was that I believe that we was always like this. And that right there is something that's within the spirit itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain things within spirit itself, and you've been knowing this right here stuff since you was a kid. Since you was a kid, you always knew how to read a spirit. You know what I'm saying? You knew how to do this stuff as a kid. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna give you an example how you knew this right here. And I used the same example yesterday. Just go back to when you was a kid and you wanted to go spend a night at somebody's house, at your cousin's house or a friend's house or something like that. What would happen if you went to go ask your parent, could you go spend the night? Versus what would happen if they asked your parent if you can come spend the night. You see what I'm saying? You always be right there, have your ear around the corner of the door, right? And you want your friend or your buddy or your cousin or something to go ask your parent if you can come and spend the night at the house. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ask, they're going to tell you no, and they ain't going to bite your head off. But they ain't going to bite their head off like they'll bite your head off. And they could tell them yes or no, and it ain't going to, So you knew spiritually then. That's what I'm talking about. You knew that you can go ask this person a question and they'll say no, and then another person go ask that same person the same question and they'll say yeah. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That would be a message. You see what I'm saying? That wasn't supposed to come from you. That wasn't supposed to come from you. It was supposed to come from somebody else. You know what I mean? And so that's what you did. You made that happen. You called your cousin in. Hey, cuz, come on in. Hey, go ask my mama if I can come spend the night over there with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, ask Papa if I can come over there and, spend the night. He gonna tell me no. You gotta ask him. You gotta do it. You know how this stuff go. And that's because you already know. Your spirit already told you. You know what I'm saying? You was well in sync with that too. You was well in sync with that. And that's what I'm talking about, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. So y'all gonna be getting some messages. These downloads gonna be coming from everywhere, especially if you haven't been doing some work, because I know I've been doing some work. And so you're gonna be getting these downloads, man. These messages is gonna be people that's gonna answer some questions for you that you have asked yourself. And this is why you're gonna have to remember, you've asked yourself these questions before. You see what I'm saying? And you probably never have gotten the answers to them. You see what I'm saying? Or you've gotten the answers, but they went right over your head. You gotta stop doing that. And that right there was part of the reason too why I, like, around the time when, like I said, my son had passed, them earlier on days, that was one of the reasons why I guess that was one of the reasons I didn't know it then, but I look back at it now, that could have been one of the reasons why I wasn't, drinking. That's what, shoot, I didn't know. I didn't celebrate my son's death in getting drunk and getting all blew out because I lost my son. No, that's not the way that went for me. I was taking in some downloads at that time, baby. I was taking in some downloads. Now, let's get this right here straight. There ain't nothing wrong with nobody having a drink or nothing like that right there. That just wasn't me at the time. And because I didn't do that, I was able to get more messages. I was able to get more downloads and everything else that was coming to me that I could dissect myself because I was sober enough to understand. I was sober enough to be able to make a right move and not allow certain things to happen being under the influence of alcohol, because I'm gonna tell you that alcohol, that bad boy will open you up, you know what I'm saying? And it'll open you up to where there is no filter nowhere, you know what I'm saying? And anything goes, and you don't want to be in that position when you up under that type of stress and you up under that type of pressure and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? You want to be able to make a clear, sound decision when it's time to making dues with anything important, paperwork, lawyers, directors, anything that you might have, to do in terms of business and stuff like that. Like, you want to be on point. If it ain't one thing you already lost because of, whatever your situation might be, you still want to be on point or as close to on point that you can help when it comes down to making sure that stuff get done. You know what I'm saying? And that right there is going to require a whole lot of listening, because that's what you're going to do. And especially if it's days before your service and these people's service and stuff like that, you're going to be doing a whole bunch of listening. Yeah. A lot of people ask me, I've had some people that ask me, or tell me that they've lost somebody, and I tell them, hey, listen, I hear you and I give you my condolences. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Pay attention to what's going on around you. You know what I'm saying? Because if I didn't pay, I'd have missed a whole lot of stuff. If I didn't pay attention to the stuff that was going on around me. And some of it I may have did miss. I may have missed some of it. But it was a lot of it I didn't miss. You see what I'm saying? That I would have missed had I have been drinking. I do not recommend nobody, at least until after the service. After the service, okay. But before the service, I do not recommend that nobody drink alcohol, at least heavy alcohol, before that service, because it's stuff that you have to do, that you have to be on point about. You can't be down there with alcohol all on your breath talking to the funeral home directors people. You know what I'm saying? You can't be down there talking to other people that's giving you condolences and all this other stuff while you down here trying to talk to the cemetery people. You can't be down here talking to detectives, or if that's the case, and doctors and all this other stuff, man. You got alcohol on your breath. You're slurring. They know that they can't get nothing across through to you, and you can't be like that, man. You just can't be. You got to pull yourself together. You know what I'm saying? Because when you like that in that state, you miss a whole bunch of messages. I done said messages about 1,000 times in this video. But that's what I'm talking about, because that right there, when you miss the message, you kind of miss ways that it will probably help you move forward. Sometimes the way to move forward might be in a message that you just done overlooked. Who knows, man? Who knows? Who knows? What's going on, cuz? You never know. And because I've taken in so many different messages and so many different downloads, I'm telling you, that's why I said I'm able to stand in the crowd and damn near scan the whole crowd, just looking like it be times, man, listen, after you done did so much work, the people that you used to be around and the very people that you still will go around, you can feel lonely than a mug, bro. for real, you could feel lonely. You be in a crowd of people and feel lonely as hell because of the work that you done did. You know what I'm saying? You done did certain kind of work on you, and it's just the way that you see that situation when you go back, and it just look different. It's just not. It don't have the same look no more. You know what I'm saying? It don't have the same look no more. You know, and that right there would almost cause you to kind of like stay yourself away from people. And it ain't that you mad at nobody or nothing like that. You're not mad at nobody. You just kind of like stay away because you still doing something. The more work you do, it'll really push you to kind of like fall back a little bit. And it's not because nobody did anything. Nobody did nothing to you. Nobody did nothing to you. You sitting back and you trying to get all these messages that you done been getting, that you done been missing, that done went right over your head. You know what I'm saying? When you go back and you think about it, you know, oh, okay, well, this right here is why, oh, okay. Now it makes sense now. You got to go back in your hindsight, you know what I'm saying? Go back in these archives and say, wait a minute. 2 and 2 is, okay. Yep. Okay, now that's what we got to do. That's where we at. So, like I said, my phone gonna die, y'all. It's gonna die. I ain't come on here to be on here too long. I just wanted to say that right there. Get that on out the way. Let y'all know that, you know, hey, pay attention. It's something that's happening in these times right now that probably have never happened before, but you better pay attention to it and pay attention to the messages that people get and stop writing stuff off. We good for writing stuff off. Stop writing stuff off. You know what I mean? We got to stop writing stuff off. Listen to what's going on and make it work. Make it apply. If it don't apply, let it fly. But in some cases, some of this stuff gonna sound like it don't apply. That's why you gotta listen for it. You gotta have an ear. You gotta have an ear in this right here. You definitely gotta have an ear. You know, definitely gotta have an ear. But I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm not gonna be here too long. Hey, Uncle Ronnie, you can go over there and check me out. Hey, Uncle Ronnie, and then I'm on TikTok as well with my Cash App as my name. So y'all go over there and check me out, man. I'm gonna get with y'all later on, and remember, listen for them downloads, baby, and listen for the messages that you're gonna get from people. You're gonna get some messages. You're gonna get some messages, baby, and you're gonna get some messages from some people. And you listen to them, and you see where it applies at. But ain't nobody gonna know this but you. That's the catch. Ain't nobody gonna know this right here but you. You the only one that's gonna know it, because you gonna know how it fit inside your life. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what's fit for you. And you don't worry about nobody else. Just you. You don't worry about nobody else, because you don't want to pull in nobody else's energy and it make it harder for you to recover. Do you get what I'm saying? You could do that. You could pull in somebody else's energy so much to the point to where you won't be able to recover the way that you're supposed to recover, because you pulling in too much energy from other people that's not doing the work. You see, and that's not what you want. You don't want to be with those kind of people that's not doing the work. That's not what you want. If you want the ones that's willing to do the work or have done the work, you know what I'm saying? And those are the ones that you want to work with. The rest of them, it'll catch up to them when it catch up to them. But you got some work that need to be done. But listen, I'm going to get back with y'all later on, and we'll chop it up. Y'all have yourself a good one.